to this era. He has sacrificed his life, his body. He's taken attacks. He's been mistreated, misunderstood. But thanks be to God, he has been persistent. He has never given up. He's always been a voice for the voiceless. He's always aligned with the marginalized. He's always represented the hurting, and he's always been a voice for justice. He's our leader, the president of the National Action Network. It is my privilege, then, to present for the keynote moment the Reverend Al Sharpton, president of the National Action Network.
Thank you. 50 years ago, they did not take a bus outing to come to Washington. There will be those that will miscast this as some great social event. But let us remember 50 years ago, some came to Washington having rode the back of buses. Some came to Washington that couldn't stop and buy a cup of coffee till they got across the Mason-Dixon line. Some came to Washington sleeping in their cars because they couldn't rent a motel room. Some came to Washington never having had the privilege to vote. Some came having seen their friends shed blood. But they came to Washington so we could come today in a different time and a different place, and we owe them for what we have today. I met a man not long ago. I tell it often. He says, I'm African American, but I don't understand all this civil rights marching you talking about, Reverend Al. I've accomplished, I've achieved. Look at my resume. I went to the best schools. I'm a member of the right clubs. I have the right people. Read my resume. Civil rights didn't write my resume. I looked at his resume, I said, you're right. Civil rights didn't write your resume, but civil rights made somebody read your resume. Don't act like whatever you achieved because you were that smart. You got there because some unlettered grandmas who never saw an inside of a college campus put their bodies on the line in Alabama and Mississippi and sponsored you up here. Today, we face continuing challenges. What do we want? We want the Congress to rewrite a Voting Rights Act, and we want to protect our right to vote. They are changing laws all over this country. The Congress needs to make federal law that will get through this Congress and deal with what the Supreme Court has done. Right now in Texas, in North Carolina, in other places, they're coming with all these schemes. Voter ID. Well, we always had ID. Why do we need new ID now? We had ID when we voted for Johnson. We had ID when we voted for Nixon. We had ID when we voted for those that succeeded him, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush again. Why, when we get to Obama, do we need some special ID? But I tell you what we're going to do. When we leave Washington, we getting ready to march. We're going to go to those states. We're on our way to North Carolina. We're on our way to Texas. We're on our way to Florida. And when they ask us for our voter ID, take out a photo of Medgar Evers. Take out a photo of Goodman, Cheney, and Swerner. Take out a photo of Viola Luisa. They gave their lives so we could vote. Look at this photo. It gives you the idea of who we are. Second, we need jobs. We didn't come here just talk. We want voter legislation. We need jobs. And if we can't get jobs, we need to continue these marches. And if we get tired, we need to sit down in the offices of some of those here that don't understand folk want to work and earn for their families. 50 years ago, Dr. King said that America gave blacks a check that bounced in the Bank of Justice and was returned marked insufficient funds. Well, we've redeposited the check. But guess what? It bounced again. But when we looked at the reason this time, it was marked stop payment. They have the money to bail out banks. They have the money to bail out major corporations. They have the money to give tax benefits to the rich. They have the money for the 1%. But when it comes to Head Start, when it comes to municipal workers, when it comes to our teachers, they stop the check. We gonna make you make the check good, or we gonna close down the bank. Three, we need to deal with building what must be built around gun violence. We cannot sit around and watch the proliferation of guns in our communities and in any community. We've got to fight against this recklessness that make us so insensitive that we shoot each other for no reason. Let me say to our young brothers and sisters, many that were on the program, we owe a debt to those that thought enough of you to put their lives on the line. We owe a debt to those that believed in us when we did not believe in ourselves. And we need to conduct ourselves in a way that respects that. Don't you ever think that men like Medgar Evers died to give you the right to be a hoodlum or to give you the right to be a thug. That is not what they gave their life about. We need to talk about how we address one another, how we respect one another. We need to teach our young folk, I don't care how much money they give you, don't disrespect your women. No matter what they promise you, make it clear that you know that Rosa Parks wasn't no hoe and Fannie Lou Hamer wasn't no bitch. We got some house cleaning to do. And as we clean up our house, we will then be able to clean up America. Let me say, as we fight for voter rights, as we fight for jobs, as we fight for immigration, as we fight for equality, let us not try and limit the coalition. We need all of us together. These bogus arguments about, well, they didn't suffer like us, or they are not as bad as us. The most insane thing for sick people to do is to lay up in the hospital debating about who's the sickest. We all need to unite and get well together. We should not be comparing pain. We ought to be strategizing and coalescing for all of us to have equal justice under the law and equal opportunity. You know, I want to raise this, and then we're going to do something I think special, and we march. I keep hearing people talking about Dr. King's dream. When I was younger, I said to my mother, my friends say, why are we dreaming? You need to be awake to fight. But my mother said to me, you got to understand what dreams are for. Dreams are for those that won't accept reality as it is. So they dream of what is not there and make it possible. They will romanticize Dr. King's speech, but the genius of his speech was not just the poetry of his words. The genius of his speech is with bloodshed in Birmingham, with Medgar Evers having been killed, with James Farmer, one of his co-leaders, in jail. He didn't stand here and discuss the pain. He didn't stand here and express the anger. He said in the face of those that wanted him dead, that no matter what you do, I can dream above what you do. I see a nation that'll make change if we pay the price. Others saw voting booths we couldn't use. King saw the possibility of an Obama 50 years ago. The world is made of dreamers that change reality because of their dream. And what we must do is we must give our young people dreams again. That's what Lee Sanders and Randy Weingarten was talking about. You take the funds, you take the expertise, and you tell the children they're nothing. And you tell them they're not expected to be nothing. You build jails and close schools, and you break their dreams. And you wonder why they're walking around with their pants down. Because that's what you wear in jail. And if you think that's where you're headed, you might as well get dressed before you get there. We need to give them dreams again. Not to worry about sagging pants, but sagging mentalities. If we told them who they could be and what they could do, they would pull up their pants and go to work. We've got to change how we deal with this. So we come to say that we are leaving here as they did 50 years ago. And we're going to do nonviolently what is necessary to put the climate in this country that will lead to a Voting Rights Act. We're going to do what is necessary to do what we have to do nonviolently, to have a jobs bill based on the infrastructure. We're going to register voters in each state. We're doing town hall meetings in the next 60 days. We're going to target numbers and target districts. We need to bring new voters to the polls. based on the principles and objectives of the movement. I don't know much about cooking, but I did learn how to make pancakes. My mama taught me all you got to do is put down the stuff and just flip it over. I don't know that much about politics, but I know how to do some flipping. And we need to flip some folk in Congress next year. So as we march today, we march with a determination to let you know that we don't have amnesia. We did not forget the price that's paid. We fought too hard. Our parents shed too much blood. There was too many nights in jail for you to take our vote from us now. Our vote was soaked in the blood of martyrs, and you can't take it from us like we don't know who we are. We earned the right to vote with protest, and we will regain what we lost in the Supreme Court with a protest that is focused and on its way. There was another dreamer as I close. A dreamer in the Bible called John. John looked up and said, I see a new heaven. I see a new earth. All things are passed away. I come to tell you, I know why they're screeching and hollering and talking crazy, because all America has passed away. All America that only worked for white males have passed away. All America that only worked for English speaking have passed away. All America that tell you who to sleep with but don't put food in the kitchen has passed away. All things have passed away. We see a new America. We see an America of equality, of justice, of fairness. We march because we're going to bring a new America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice, not for some, not for who you choose, not for who you like, but for all. We believe in a new America. It's time to march for a new America. It's time to organize for a new America. It's time to register and vote for a new America. We're on our way. We're on our way. We're on our way.